All right, Lester,
Yep.
you got here late. Oh, I can't brief you for long. We've got a guest, a 16-year vet of the league.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Andrew Ference, Cup winner.
Andrew Ference?
Ference, F-E-R-E-N-C-E.
Ference.
Yeah, and he works for the NHL now, so don't say anything stupid.
Steve's going to be here the whole time?
Steve's going to be here the whole time.
Jesus Christ.
We're doing a new format. So our eye-line
You know what I was thinking? We could use some more people in this space. Maybe we can get somebody set up over here next time, too.
So our eye-line, when we're looking to Andrew, he's on the internet right there, and I'm looking to the audience here. How often do I turn back and forth here?
Just be natural.
I think you just look at him when you're talking to him.
Okay.
And then whenever you want to eye fuck the camera, you go to the camera.
Okay.
So he's here. He is. I can bring him in at any time.
Well, I don't even know if I'm ready here.
You're ready.
Do I look all right?
Yeah, you look great.
I mean, he's won a Stanley Cup. I don't want to look like an idiot in front of him.
I sent him a hat, by the way. We should promote these hats just so we
got him a
have
hat?
something to sell.
Okay.
I sent him a hat. This is a trucker hat, Moose Jaw.
He's not going to wear it in the interview, right?
No, I'm trying to sell a hat for us for the show.
Okay.
By the way, he got pissed at me because I was buying people hats who can help the show, and he said Dorothy gets dinged on her credit card or something.
Dorothy's credit card is set up to the merch account. So every time Steve buys, Steve's the only one buying merch except for like 7 other people. So every time he buys a hat, a trucker hat for someone, Dorothy's credit card gets dinged. And then she comes at me, hey, are you going to pay me back? And I'm like, not until the Deal and Ducks money comes in. I can't fucking pay her back.
Well, maybe it's time to get your own credit
You're
card.
not paying her back.
I've got my own debts.
Well, you just said you're sending these hats out for free. We're not making money.
It's a strategy. I'm sending it to people who can give us money or help the show. Like Andrew can help us grow. He works for the NHL.
Do you think he can get me an interview with Gary Bettman? You guys can be in it too.
Well, if this interview goes well, maybe he'd be willing to try.
Yeah.
Did you guys research everything?
Yeah, I mean, I know everything.
I don't know what he...
So we assigned you some questions to make it look like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know him.
Shall we bring him in?
You have to introduce him.
I'm going to, but can you confirm that he's there?
He's there.
Okay, he's there. Mostly sure. All right. Howdy, Moose Javians. Our next guest played 17 seasons in the National Hockey League. Despite being an undersized defenseman and an 8th-round draft pick, he carved out over 900 NHL games and another 120 in the postseason by being fearless and generally unpleasant to play against. He's a left-shot defenseman, a Stanley Cup champion with the Boston Bruins, and a former captain of the Edmonton Oilers. After hanging up the skates, he didn't disappear to a lake. He now works for the NHL as the director of youth strategy, making the game even better for the next generation. Please give a proper prairie welcome to a good old Alberta boy, Andrew Ference. Andrew, how the hell are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Lindy, yeah?
I'm Lindy.
Does he know we're doing this?
Yeah, he's here. He knows.
He doesn't seem to know.
I've seen you on public access.
There you go. Fan of the show.
All right. I want to start off with your buddy Zdeno Chara. You played junior hockey in the Dub against Zdeno, and fast forward nearly 30 years, you end up officiating his jersey retirement in Boston just a few weeks back. Can you just sort of walk us what that full circle moment was like?
I think I was 16. I went up to Prince George, and we were doing warm-ups up in Old PG after probably a 12-hour bus ride from Portland. And there's an 80-year-old woman giving me the finger on against the glass during warm-up. And there was all these people holding up these growth charts that were 6'9" tall with a picture of Zdeno Chara on them that I think they got at the grocery store earlier that day. And then, back in my day, we did warm-ups separately, right? Because the WHL used to be too many fights. So I didn't even get to see him in warm-up. So when the game started, out came this monster, and we had to play against him. And he tossed around Joey Teterenko that night and ragdolled him a bit and scared the shit out of me. So he was a force to be reckoned with. So to have some of that, yeah, first impressions, and then get to know the guy and get to play with the guy, and then get to bawl my eyes out when he held the cup, for our team. It was incredible. A pretty easy guy to talk about at center ice last week.
So you've gone on record as saying Z wasn't very good in juniors. Can you expand on that a little bit? Were just some elements of his game just not dialed in yet?
He was as raw as they come, and I think that he would be the first to admit it too. He didn't skate very well. I mean, he was huge, right, and so strong. His dad was an Olympic. He trained Olympic wrestlers. He tells stories about himself too. He got cut from not even the rep team, but just the so-so team in his town when he grew up, and so he didn't skate so hot. Very so-so hands. Like you said, he was huge, but he didn't leave an impression. I didn't think he was going to make the NHL. That's for sure. And that's not like taking a shot at him. It was just the reality. You get to that level of junior, and you kind of figure that you have an idea of who will make it and who won't. But I've never seen a guy work like that. He was hardcore. Eastern European in him was strong, and the more pain, the better. It's something up here. He's a little different.
What was he like socially? Like, what's your favorite story of hanging out with Z on the road? You probably spent a lot of time with him.
I think one of my favorite stories of him is we had a day off. You get the odd day off, and so we all are doing our stuff and come back to the rink, and most of us are just sitting around and relaxing, for a day off. And I sat in the stall next to him, and so I asked him what he got up to, and he went to an estate sale because he was interested in real estate, and he thought there would be some good deals, and he never been to an estate sale, so he went and bought some dead person stuff and auction, and then he got his real estate license so that he could be a real estate agent, I guess, and sell houses and stuff like that. And then he got his financial financial planning or whatever you call it, advisor diploma, and this was all while we were playing. And so he'd be on these side quests his whole career of doing all these random things while the rest of us were just, trying to kick our feet up on a day off.
One thing I loved about the 2011 Bruins team is there wasn't one guy who was over a point per game player on that team. And I think, to me, that just says you guys played a hard team game. You bought into the system Claude Julien had. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, I talked about it when we retired Z's jersey, is this culture that we built. And we had some guys that would play a couple minutes a night. And then we had a guy like Bergeron or something like that would be, first line. And he expected the same out of everybody. And he would let you know if he wasn't getting it. And so there's just this level of expectation of everybody all the time. It's like we all kind of took a blood oath to a certain degree of no matter what, if we lose, if we're in a tight game, if there's a fight, whatever, we're all fighting, we're all hitting, we're all playing just mean bastards all the time, because the Bruins fan base was fed up with what they had seen, in the years previous, not making the playoffs and playing a style of game that just wasn't what Boston Bruins are supposed to play, right? So there's kind of a non-negotiable of we might get beat, but we're going to beat the shit out of the other team, and everybody's going to do it, whether you're the leading scorer or, the fourth line guy. And when you're part of that, you feel about 10 times tougher than you probably actually are.
I do feel like that culture was passed down from Bergeron and Marchand to McAvoy and Pasternak and some of the other guys that are there now. But I don't really have a question there. That was more just a comment that I think the culture has been passed down. And one of my favorite things I read about you was, in your draft year, you weren't super high up on the prospect list, but you sent a letter to every general manager's office making a case for yourself. You even, I believe you went to the University of Alberta to do your own combine or your own testing. I love that. And walk us through sort of your decision to do something like that.
Yeah, it sounds you went down to the library in Moose Jaw and used the internet to look me up, eh?
We do our research around here, Andrew.
That's impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, so back in junior, I was 5'10", right? So I wasn't too big, and that was back before the rules changed, and the game was still pretty big. So I did well in junior, but I wasn't even ranked at all for the draft. And so I went to the U of A and found out which testing they did and did all my own, and then sent a fax, Lindy.
Wow.
Got the fax numbers for every GM in the league and put a little cover letter and said, hey, like, this is Andrew Ference, play junior. Here's my stats. Central Scouting didn't think I belonged on the list, but I believe I do, and you should give me a chance. And so sent that out to all the GMs and didn't hear back from a single one, but I did get a call on draft day from the Penguins, and Craig Patrick, who was the GM at the time, let me know. He's like, that was pretty ballsy. And he's like, I appreciate it. And, see you at camp. And so it was awesome. Like, you got to be persistent. It's a lesson that I teach my own kids, right? But like, if you want something, you got to sometimes knock on the door a few times and have the audacity to just barge through sometimes.
I love that. We ask for just the bare minimum on this show. Sometimes we can't even get water, but here we are trying to get through a show without being hydrated. Maybe we can get some water, Norm. I'm a little parched, but
you're parched. You're nervous. You're stressed. You're tense.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I've never seen you like this.
No, I'm fine. I just we
no,
haven't
you're not.
Done,
you're shaking.
We haven't dealt with technology like this.
He is shaking.
You're absolutely shaking.
Can I talk to
Your curls
Andrew?
are vibrating.
Can I talk
it's out
to
of
Andrew?
respect. He has respect for Andrew. That's all
right.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Lighten it up a little bit. It sounds like this is a wake for this guy.
Your body's taking it seriously. That's why you're nervous.
Andrew, can I talk to you and not? We don't have to regard these guys for a second.
I want to ask Andrew a question.
Well,
Andrew, did that process when you were writing all these, faxing all these letters to these GMs, was that as desperate as it sounds, or were you just a young kid that didn't know any better?
Andrew, he's taking advantage of this being a virtual interview.
I mean, I was desperate to be a hockey player because I didn't want to be a failed sports personality.
There you go.
Leaving Toronto.
There you go. This could have been you, Andrew. You're looking at your old life here.
Can I ask him a fucking question?
Yeah, just lighten it up a little bit.
Interjecting.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
It sounds like we're at a funeral.
What was it like going from an 8th round draft pick to a year and a half later making the Canadian World Junior team? And you put up great numbers for Portland in the dub. So like, I feel like if you came around, I'll get back to my question. This is just more of a complimentary statement than a question. Is that okay?
It's really interesting.
All right. So you put up good numbers in the dub. I feel like if you were playing in the dub in this modern era, you would have been a 1st or 2nd round pick. You were an 8th round pick. Year and a half later, you make the Canadian World Junior team. What was that like?
Oh, but it was amazing, and we got to go to Winnipeg, which the whiteout. We were in the old barn with the giant Queen Elizabeth painting or portrait, in the one end, and it was insane. But it felt like a little bit of a pat on the back there.
Andrew, how long did it take for you to get comfortable in the league? Like, did you have any imposter syndrome when you joined? Did it I don't know what kind of contracts you were on early on, but when did you get comfortable? Were you always comfortable?
Never. I don't think I was ever comfortable, to be honest. Every day, it feels like there's an axe above your head, and you got to prove yourself over and over and over again. It's just, especially like where I started, right? So, to come in as an 8th round pick, and I remember the very first day of training camp, I fought the 1st rounder from the year before just to piss people off, and got in a fight with Barnaby during training camp, and was just running around like an idiot just to just create disturbance, right, and get noticed. And so I had a good coach in junior, Harold Schneps, as well as Brent Peterson. But Harold told me, you got to be loud. You got to do something loud. You got to make a statement. You got to make an impact. You got to do something. Like, don't blend in. And so I showed up on a Harley Davidson training camp. I ran around, fought, did everything I could to stand out. And then, but when you make the team, like I said, the axe is over your head, up and down from the minors. It feels like every single day could be your last. I rented a apartment. It was $500 a month above a State Farm insurance business in an old Pennsylvania house and 10 feet away from some train tracks. And I just counted every day as a blessing for my first few years, for sure. So yeah, I don't know if I ever felt comfortable until the last contract, maybe.
Could you picture Lester driving a Harley Davidson? Because I sure as shit could not.
I can.
Well, maybe one of those trike ones with the giant windshield.
Maybe I could borrow Andrew's assless chaps too.
Does he have those?
I don't know.
Yeah,
he might.
Yeah,
he's got to feel comfortable.
What's wrong with assless chaps?
Lester's never been to the Stampede. He's never been to the Stampede, so maybe we'll get him out there.
I thought those are the best kind.
They are nice. When you entered the league, you played with this guy named Mario Lemieux and another guy named Jaromir Jagr. What was it like sharing a room and being on the ice with those legends?
Well, I think about 6 or 7 years before that, it's all I asked for Christmas was a Mario Lemieux jersey. So when I came down at Christmas time, and I got my Mario Lemieux jersey, and short couple of years later, I was sitting across from him. He was the owner of the team at the time too, and I was literally living a dream. Jagr assisted on my first ever goal.
Wow.
So I got to keep that. For a guy like me, I just wanted to do whatever I was told, and those guys were pretty good at telling you what to do. So I remember the first couple of games, trying to play, and Jagr just came up to me and just bluntly told me, he's like, Andy, just so you know, they don't pay you to hold on to the puck. You give it to me. You give the puck, give the puck to me. And I was like, Jags, there's 3 guys on you. He's like, just give it to me. I know what to do with it. And so that was probably the best advice I could ever get. And so I got a ton of assists giving him the puck every single time.
Can I just say, I have to give Andrew tons of credit because we DM people.
Yep.
And you just called me, Andrew, and you were like, hello? And I'm like, you're like, this is Andrew Ference. And we had just DM'd people the night before, and you were awesome about making arrangements for this. So,
well, this guy has a real job. He's not just a podcaster like every other idiot we've had on this show.
But it's cool.
He's like works for the NHL, doesn't he? That's some more research.
Yes.
He's like
He's a big
director of
youth
youth
development.
strategy.
Yeah,
I
so he doesn't
said
have
that.
time to bullshit and chat and DM.
Yeah.
Like all our other guests.
But he's saying even as a busy guy, he still had the
Picked
time
up
to
the
That's
phone.
what I'm
respond
saying.
to
I'm
us.
saying because he's a busy guy, picked up.
he was in a
This
tuxedo.
is a real guy here.
Yeah. Lester's normally not nice. He must really like you,
Lindy,
Andrew.
take it away.
All right, you played with some characters.
There's nothing better than a cold call. So I'm glad that you picked up.
I love it. Yeah.
It was a warm call. It was a warm call. Yeah. Did you ever play in the crushed can back in the day in Moose Jaw, or did you guys not make the trip from Portland?
Yeah, I broke my collarbone in the crush can.
Oh wow.
I remember it well. Yeah, that's a tough swing. You go through there and swift current, and it was the worst place to be a rookie because you had to unload the whole bus and in the middle of a blizzard or something like that, and slide down the stairs and basically take your life, risk your life trying to get the skate sharpener and all the veterans' bags down those stairs.
What was it like playing in that old barn?
Yeah, it was not great, and the boards didn't move, so they were solid as hell. So there was no give to them, but there were some tough barns. The other tough one was Kelowna, the old Kelowna barn, and playing against their team, and I think the boards came up to about my chin. Or
You've played with some characters in the day, but I've got to ask about one particular character. A guy by the name of Billy Tibbetts. You played with him on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Is it true that he fought or tried to fight Mario Lemieux on the team plane, or is that a rumor?
Oh, that's some deep dive. That's pretty good. I can distinctly remember, like literally, I'm trying to remember which fast food joint it was. It might have been McDonald's, but I can remember a McDonald's hamburger, like ketchup and mustard and all that crap on it, literally flying a few rows down the plane, and there being a bit of a tussle. So I don't know if any punches were thrown, but a hamburger was thrown at one point. So yeah,
Did Tibbetts?
He was an interesting.
Tibbetts throw the hamburger?
Terrible guy.
Yeah, Mario's not having a
Mario's
hamburger
not
from
throwing
McDonald's.
Yeah, Mario was not throwing hamburgers.
So the burger came from the hand of Billy Tibbetts. Lester, I believe you had something you wanted to ask Andrew.
About, I want to know about, from what I understand, he got in a dust-up with our friend of the pod, Sean Avery, back in the day when he was on the Dallas Stars. I want to know how much you remember about that day, about that knife fight.
I remember that fight well because I lit up his teammate, Steve Ott, at center ice.
Avery. Ahead! Ference flattens Ott.
He came down. It was a weird fight. He did like a weird takedown on me. It was like some kind of judo move. He grabbed I remember it. He grabbed like my pants and kind of like.
And now they're going to go. Ference banging Avery. Avery takes a shot at him on the way down. Ference wants more. He wants to rip that guy limb from limb.
And you guys are about the same size. That would have been a good scrap if he didn't go judo on you, I think.
Yeah, it should have been a longer fight, to be honest. But I always appreciated him. I actually thought it was pretty cool. Like, I know he did his internships and stuff. Was it at Vogue or at some of the fashion houses? I thought that was pretty cool, man. Like, the guy was ahead of his time. I think he was actually a really good hockey player. And the thing about it kind of surprised me. Like he didn't need to do some of the goofy stuff. He was just a solid hockey player. Mm-hmm. I kind of like guys like that. They make the league interesting. They make it fun.
And do you remember all the fights that you've been in, or just the ones that you win?
It's the same question, bud. If I had to pick a favorite, though, I had the first fight that Sidney Crosby ever had.
Crosby, Ference on the poke check. Crosby tries to sweep it in front. Weidman gets a piece. Letang toward the middle of the wrist shot. Save Thomas. And Crosby's in a fight with Ference. Crosby getting a couple of rights in. Ference comes over the top and gets the takedown. It
was a real quick one. I always get asked who won. And I might give him that one. I came out, I had like a little cut and I was bleeding. It was one of my shortest fights in my career, but he's a strong little bugger.
Another beloved villain of the game, Brad Marchand, your teammate in Boston. You won a cup together. What's your favorite Marshy story, and what was it like having him as a teammate? He was in the early days of his career.
He's like your crazy little brother that you love and care about, but sometimes is just being an idiot. So you got to give him a little tug on the shoulder sometimes. But my favorite memories is just listening to him nonstop on the bench, just chirping away and getting under guys' skin. And it was almost comical, some of the stuff that he would do just to, like I said, back to what I told you earlier about guys almost wanting to be the one to cause the chaos. We had the type of team that he knew that he would have the whole line backing him up and willing to fight. And so I think it gave him a little extra confidence to do some of the dumb shit that he would try to pull, some of the cheap hits and extra shots that he knew he had a quick backup for. So he's like a little brother that knew he had a bunch of big brothers around him to save his ass. But man, like, what an incredible career. Like he turned in from a rookie kind of being like that to, a leader and learning from, guys like Bergeron and Chara and I think taking a lot of those lessons to heart about how to transition from just being that chaos agent to like a real leader. And then, at his age to do what he did in the playoffs, like under pressure with a trade like that and help the Panthers, like, the dude is unbelievable. And I guess the last thing about him is, and I've done this, within the last couple months, I send him a note and tell him that, I met somebody, there's somebody I needed a video, for that was sick. And he gets back to me, within minutes, with a video, wishing the person well. And he's a guy that will, he doesn't forget where he comes from. That's for sure.
Andrew, would you consider yourself an agent of chaos given your equipment malfunction there in the playoff game where you had the glove, the super glue in the glove or whatever you said was the problem?
Rolling puck for Ference, and he scores a goal. And, that good on him. He's got his team back in the hockey game. But it's what he does after he scores the goal that enrages me. And Andrew Ference, you better get ready to open up your wallet.
Yeah, it's a sign language, it's the language barriers.
What were you trying to say?
Bruins #1.
How does a glove get stuck like that?
Well, I mean, they're new, right? Mm-hmm. So like when you're like celebrating, it gets like stiff, right? So when you're going for the fist bump, sometimes it just gets locked in there. These things are big, so
yeah,
I can see that.
It gets stuck there, and you're excited. Yeah, it happens.
I'll see if I can maybe celebrate like that near a ref after a goal next game and see if he has the same response. Yeah. So Lester actually coached our beer league team.
He's seen it.
Lead.
Oh, you saw that?
He saw it. He gave him a preview of it.
You gave him a preview.
Let's go, boys. Lineups.
He didn't seem to know what the hell was going on. Was that your takeaway?
Are you fucking skating out there or what?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Barely
stay
fucking
back.
moving.
I thought the coaching was pretty bang on. I thought the players were, quite honestly, they didn't understand the hierarchy of who's calling the shots. You got to listen to your coach.
Incredible.
So I saw some good, clear communication. I saw some, trying to get the Ducks chant going.
Quack. 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 Let's go. Come on, boys. 7-3. Let's go. It should be 17.
Some clear direction, of what he wanted out of you, Lindy, and I got to say, like, you had some attitude. If you were playing for Daryl Sutter or something like that, like you would foot up your ass probably.
Yeah, Daryl's he's always
you can't talk back like that.
I think we won 9-3 if it goes.
Yeah, the other team was,
and the goalie wasn't even a goalie, he's a defender. Stu, what the fuck? 5 on 13. That's good in baseball, not good in hockey. I think at one point they had 5 shots and 3 goals.
Yeah, we won.
We won, but there's room for improvement.
Lester did bench me.
Lindy, slide down to the middle, take a break. Why don't we shut it down?
We only have 10 guys.
There must have been a moment where you were 45 seconds on the ice just standing still. I fucking timed it. You stood still for 45 fucking seconds.
The puck was in our own zone. I just stood at the blue line waiting for a pass.
This is like coaching potatoes on skates.
I did see a clip though, Lindy. You had some explosive speed. There's potential there. He tried to get to the middle.
There he is. Hey! Oh, that's off the knee. It should hurt, Lindy.
I don't have the explosiveness I used to have as a young buck like yourself. But producer Steve is a diehard Leafs fan, and I know you were injured in Game 7 of the first round in 2013. You had a broken foot, I believe. But what was that like, even as a spectator watching? I am sure it was a much better experience than Steve had, even though you weren't out there with your boys, the team. But watching them come back down 4-1 with, 10 minutes left in the third? Steve, what?
10:42, yeah.
What was that like, Andrew?
Anytime it's the Leafs, it's just funny. That's all it is. It was just as good that it was so funny that it was against the Leafs. Like, we could have done the same thing against any other team, and I don't think it would have been nearly as good just because it's, of course it was Toronto. Of course that happened, so I was up in the press box and we were just, honestly, we were laughing more than we were cheering just because it was the way it fell apart and the way it all came together was comical.
Let's talk about the Leafs for a little bit.
So we do a little thing called Leafs Corner here, Andrew. I really don't want to.
Steve started it. It's Steve got it on the.
I didn't even know this existed.
Less a hockey fan, more of a Leafs fan. But I don't want to get into the 18-wheeler off a cliff 2013.
That's what started it, though, right? That began the 18-wheeler off a cliff. That was the first patch of black ice.
Yeah,
that game.
There's been other skids, but yeah, I did want to ask you.
I'm just trying to understand. Were they better before that?
No.
I mean, in the early aughts, they were pretty good. Early 90s, they were pretty good.
Yeah, like the Dougie Gilmore behind the net.
Gary Roberts.
Early 90s, though.
Yeah, Darcy Tucker.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you something because you, speaking of the Leafs, just pull you into Leafs Corner, little cozy corner here in Moose Jaw, -60. You and Willie Nylander actually share something in common. You both, you flip the bird during an active NHL game. Yours was on the ice after blasting a clapper top shelf against Carey Price, presumably at the Habs fans. His was presumably to his own fans while he was in the press box eating ice cream. I'm just curious, if you were his teammate, what would you have said to him?
He ended up having to pay twice as much as I did too. I mean, if I'm gonna throw a bird, you better do it. The locale matters, right? So maybe in an OT game against the Bruins where you come back and win, it would be called for. I think it's got to be special circumstances, not when you're sitting up in the press box. That's for sure. 5-game
skid, eating ice cream. I presume, Andrew, that you wore suits to the game. You look great the other night with Zdeno and your tux. I'm just staying on Willie, not to pick on Willie, but I don't know if you caught the shot of him in a tank top at the game, representing the 100-year-old Original Six franchise. Did you see that shot?
I didn't see the tank top. I've seen some style. Isn't it? His name is Willie Styles, right? I don't mind it. I don't mind the guys showing a bit of their personalities. There's a couple of guys that really nail it. You know, is it Sergachev?
Sergachev,
he's just killing it. He's pretty fashionable. That guy. I gotta say, like, there's a bit of a man crush on that guy when I see him what he's walking in with.
Willie's wearing $30,000 jeans though. I mean, like
feet up on the desk.
You got if you're gonna wear $30,000 pair of dungarees, you should at least have won a Stanley Cup prior to doing that. Am I wrong, Lester?
I don't know. I'm just worried that the NHL might be losing touch with its fans if they're trying to get too fancy. Is that what we're talking about? There's some players that are coming to games looking.
Well, there used to be a dress code where they, wear a suit and tie, and then I think it sort of loosened a bit. You'd still wear a suit, but a dress shirt, maybe no tie. This is the first year where they've just gone like, sort of wear whatever is within the, means of respectability. But
wear something.
Wear something. Don't wear a tank top. Don't wear sparkle $30,000 jeans. Well, they can have sparkles, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I like the flair. But Andrew, let me just ask you your opinion on this. I know you're familiar, with the Leafs. You're plugged into the game. With the exception of Scott Laughton, OEL, Jake McCabe, what would you say? What kind of leadership is missing from my beloved Maple Leafs?
I'm baffled by anybody that plays with the Leafs and doesn't understand that they've been handed the most golden opportunity on a platter. To play in the biggest market with fans that are awesome. They keep showing up. You're on Hockey Night in Canada every single weekend. It's a dream. I think the type of leadership that gets rid of the barriers between them and the fans and embraces life. I know when we played in Boston, the whole team, we lived in the North End, which is where you buy your cannolis and pasta. That's Little Italy. We would walk to the rink, through the neighborhood, say hi to the barber. We'd all just be hanging out, part of the neighborhood, and we still are. When we retired Chara's jersey the other day, we literally walked down the sidewalk through the neighborhood with Bobby Orr, Ray Bourque, Cam Neely, every retired guy, every retired number that's up in the rafters in Boston, plus Chara and our whole 20. We all walked to the rink right by the fans, just as is.
That's great.
Last one. I know you're an honest guy. You're going to give me an honest answer here, Andrew. Be honest. Would you be inspired as a player by Auston Matthews if he was your captain?
I've never met him. I've never met him. And I do know enough to say that until you've been around somebody enough and see what they're like behind the scenes, you really don't know them. And so it would be foolish for me to judge, what somebody's like based on what I've seen on Hockey Night or, a commercial or whatever it is, right? So I honestly don't know.
It's a very diplomatic answer. You might have a future in politics, Andrew. I know you're answering that because you are working for the NHL, director of youth strategy.
Here, and I want to reiterate what his advice to the Leafs was just be grateful
agree with
that they suck so much and people still care. That's essentially what he said.
No,
he said be grateful because they've been given everything and they suck and people are still showing up and they're putting them on TV.
You could be in Anaheim, nobody cares. There's not half a reporter there. He's saying there's 50 reporters there. They can't wait to speak to you after the game. It's an honor.
But they suck.
Well, now you're denigrating Anaheim? What did they ever do?
Sure. Well, go to Carolina. Let's see how much they care about the game.
Quick jump in here. Craig Berube's exercise accident looks an awful lot like it might have been maybe a bottle at a bar fight was my takeaway.
Is this the guy that looks like a Marvel villain? And he has the scar?
Even Lester knows.
It made its way to me. Yeah. He has a big scar.
It was an
up here.
accident at the gym.
He had 50 stitches in his
not a
head.
Pilates machine. Andrew, what do you think?
What possible exercise could you be doing that something like that would happen?
That was crazy. I saw it the other day too. I was actually a little bit taken aback. And the only I have done a couple gym injuries, and it's always you're doing something on the ground and then you lift up and then hit your head on something stupid, right? So that's the only thing I can think of is that there was weights on a bench press or something like that, a big plate, and he was doing something underneath and grabbing something and then just came up and didn't know where he was but that's the only. But stuff falls. I don't know. There's plenty of stuff in a weight room that can mess you up. So
Andrew, these guys have never been to a gym, so they wouldn't know what's in the
I used to work
room.
out in the Prairie League, but we're going 25 years ago. So I haven't stepped foot in a gym in 25 years. But
Lindy, you should come work out with me. You got an open invitation to come work out with me.
I would love that. I've seen some of your Instagram videos. I like the way you do things in the gym. I feel like I just need a little bit of an inspiration to get going.
You should want to look better, generally. You should want to look better. That's usually a lot of people's
Dorothy loves the way I look.
Motivation.
Dorothy loves the way I look.
How's Dorothy doing anyways?
She's fine. Yeah, she's fine. We're actually
When was the last time she hit the gym?
She doesn't need to hit the gym. She's in great shape.
I didn't realize Andrew knew.
I didn't know you knew. I don't know why everyone knows my partner Dorothy.
You talk about her all the time.
I guess he does watch the
Talk
show.
about her every show.
Everybody knows Dorothy.
Everyone.
Well, I was poking around Andrew's Instagram page too, and I saw that he's kind of a jack of all trades. You're a big hobbyist now because you have the job and then nothing else to do. So you got this. You're doing your own fitness stuff. You're doing some gardening. I saw. Is your life really just that boring, or do you actually enjoy doing this stuff?
I love my grandma Lester. She was a good prairie girl on the farm and knew how to cook and garden and take care of herself. So
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Some of us, we try to respect our elders and learn from them and carry on traditions and just trying to honor her.
That's great.
You don't have to piss him off.
Well, I didn't know. I thought he might. I thought he might have to.
His garden is special to him.
Move on.
You went below the belt.
Move on.
Speaking of your garden, I am trying to get in better shape, and you seem like a good guy to model my diet after. Are there any specific vegetables that I can implement into my diet? Because I live on tuna and Caesars, and I'm not talking about the salad kind of Caesars either.
I got to invite you over this way. You got to come west. I know Moose Jaw is nice, but Vancouver Island out this way, it's beautiful. Hey, have you been out this way before?
I've been to Vancouver once. I haven't been to the island, but I would love to. I might take you up on that. It's freezing here now, so how's next week sound?
You're more than welcome, bud. It's +8 right now.
+8. That's +8's great. Real quick, I'm going to go back real quick. I know we're talking out of turn here, but we have an outline. We do our research here, Andrew. Can you talk about briefly, and then we'll get.
You're talking a lot. It's just
Let him ask the question.
I am. He just keeps waffling about.
Yeah.
I'm not
he's,
waffling.
He's telling us why he's going to ask the question instead of just asking the question.
Can you talk about going from the juggernaut in Boston, winning a cup with them, and then getting, signing in Edmonton, your hometown team, and joining a young squad there, a rebuilding team?
It was a drastic change for sure. Those guys were all new. They're all first rounders. I think there's a lot of movement of coaches in and out, and there's no real consistency, right? So I basically went from the exact opposite to something that was completely fresh. But I think by the end, it started to come through a bit. I was exiting while the new crew was coming in, Connor and Leon and Darnell Nurse and all the guys that are leading the charge now. And at least on the way out, seeing characters like that come in was heartening because that was my hometown team, right? So that's there's a lot of pride. And so when you lose as many games as I did, wearing that jersey, it was tough. It was tough to take. And when you take it personally like that, it doesn't always bring out the best in you for sure.
Yeah. You work for the NHL as the director of youth strategy. What does that mean, really? Do you work with children or young people in the league?
The department's got a lengthy name, but we're social impact, growth, and legislative affairs, and so it's a bit of a lot of things. Our social impact stuff, you'll probably know things like Hockey Fights Cancer, like a big, is a big thing for us. So all of our support of different pride games. You got like an NHL pride game coming up at the end of the month in Vancouver that I'll be attending. We built up an NHL street hockey program. So like for street hockey, we got street hockey across North America now with like the NHL jerseys, and it's pretty cool. So we built up that program with the same people that run NFL flag football. So now, there's like kids in Alabama playing NHL street hockey, which is pretty cool. So growing the game, through programs like that, and then there is a bit of working with current guys, mostly the rookies at rookie orientation camp, helping talk about how to extend their careers, kind of like I did. I feel like I can really talk from kind of the average guy's viewpoint, like where I got drafted, how big I wasn't that skilled, but I somehow, extended my career pretty good And if that even gives you the tiniest bit of an edge, you got to take it, right? Because there's always somebody trying to take your job. So
You would have been the guy to talk to down in LA when we weren't allowed in the draft. Steve was there filming me. Did you see that? We put a video out there, a call to Gary Bettman. Is that something you think maybe we could, talk off camera about, perhaps?
yeah, that seems like something that we're going to have to follow up on for sure.
Okay.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a forced perspective. Steve filmed the Jumbotron, so we at least got to get
we were
some
close.
some coverage.
Just not inside.
We were near. It was
So you came all the way across the
Yep.
border and traveled down, and they
Yep.
didn't even let you in?
They didn't let us in, and we had a non-alcoholic beverage company fly us down there, Go Brewing.
That's unfortunate.
Anyway,
We got a thing here, Andrew, for you. It's a new segment we're doing. It's called Dear Lindy, and these are men of the people, women of the people, whatever. People write in, and they have questions that are non-hockey related. Lindy weighs in. This one just happens to be sort of like a fatherly perspective. You're a dad. I thought maybe you could weigh in here. I'll just read it to you. So this was just submitted through the people, through the social channels. It says, Dear Lindy, my wife's been out of town for a few nights, and I'm solo parenting our 3 daughters, ages 7, 3, and 6 months. My oldest is having a rough go at bedtime and completely blowing up her usual sleep routine, which my wife typically enforces with military precision. I'm fine with the chaos. The problem is my wife has surveillance cameras set up in the house, and she can monitor our every move, and she's not shy about calling out my mistakes in real time. What's the best plan of action here? Do I stick with the system or go with my gut? Appreciate your help. Bobby from Cape Breton.
That wasn't you?
Bobby,
that sounds like
Bobby
your
from
situation.
Cape Breton sounds an awful lot like Steve.
That's Bobby from Cape Breton. So we get these submitted from everyone all over the place, and Bobby had a
Militant wife, 3 children.
Bobby had
Cameras
a great.
everywhere?
Why don't we let Lindy or Andy? Andrew?
Andrew,
Yeah.
you want to take this one? What should Steve? What should Bobby from
What should
Cape
Bobby
Breton
do? This is for Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby and Cape Breton. I mean, what a great opportunity. You have surveillance cameras at if she's militant, she's checking them. But I'm going psyops on her. So I'm complimenting the shit out of her right in front of the surveillance cameras and like talking her up and just gassing her up like in front of the kids about what a great mom she is and how lucky they are and how beautiful she is. And I mean, you can't make eye contact with the camera, right? You gotta pretend that you forgot that it's there. Yeah, I'm just gassing her up the whole time and following the rules. The kids can suffer for a bit. That's fine. The kids can suffer, but Bobby shouldn't suffer. So
I like that.
she doesn't have cameras in the shed, does she?
No, she doesn't. I don't know.
We got to ask Bobby.
Yeah,
We'll have to ask Bobby. Yeah.
but earshot compliments. That's good.
That's good.
I'll tell him.
So it picks up audio. All of these.
See,
cameras.
I knew he would know. He would have nothing there. What were you going to say?
Dorothy and I don't have children.
Tape the cameras so she can't see.
I would not handle it well. Yeah, I'd get busted with. I would put duct tape or something, and then it'd be recorded. It wouldn't be good. Why don't we end this on some trivia, some light trivia? You like trivia?
Love it. Let's
All
go.
right.
I like Jeopardy. I watch that.
Awesome. All right. So you played with a former Moose Jaw Warrior in your career. Can you name this person, or do you need a hint?
Like just a Moose Jaw Warrior? Wasn't Draisaitl a Warrior?
Did you play with Draisaitl? You did. He was drafted.
Yeah.
No. Draisaitl was not a Warrior. He was a Kelowna Rocket.
Was he a Rocket?
14. Yeah, he was a Kelowna Rocket and a Prince Albert Raider, I believe.
Ah, yeah.
Imagine if you knew something useful. That's crazy.
I did my research. We do our research on this show. This is a.
It's usually multiple choice, isn't it?
All right, I'll give you a hint. You won a Stanley Cup with him.
He was a Moose Jaw Warrior.
You won a Stanley Cup with him.
Was it Shane Knighty?
No, it was Johnny Boychuk. But I feel like you're deep. He was
I
your
should have known.
deep partner at
I should have
times,
known
right?
that, but he's too young. I didn't play junior against him. I don't. Johnny probably watched too.
Johnny Boychuk. He's not a friend of the show, but he might be soon. Second appetizer question. You were coached by one former Moose Jaw Warrior. He was a player for the Moose Jaw Warriors, but he was a coach for you.
We should make these all multiple choice. This is awkward.
These are terrible.
Yeah, these aren't great.
I am the.
Yeah.
I'm good at like science trivia.
We got multiple choice. This was a difficult appetizer. Kelly Buckberger, former
Hockey?
Moose Jaw Warrior. Kelly Buckberger was your assistant in Edmonton.
You have any math questions for him?
I saw Bucky like a couple days ago. We played against the Shoresy guys.
All right, here we go. Multiple choice section. All right, all 6 of these former NHLers are from Saskatchewan. Can you name the one who never played for the Boston Bruins? A, Eddie Shore. B, Barry Peterson. C, Gord Kluzak. D, Brian Trottier. E, Lyndon Byers. Or F, Vic Lynn.
Well, it's either Trache or Lind. I think it's Trache.
Correct. You got it.
Nice.
See, he's on the board.
Nice.
He's on
yeah,
the
it's
board.
multiple choice. There's engagement.
So you played with some guys from Sask. So this category is called Prairie or Pretender. Are they from Sask or are they a pretender? All right, you got this. A, Ryan Getzlaff. B, Wade Redden. C, your former teammate in Portland, Brendan Morrow. D, Jordan Eberle, former teammate in Edmonton. I hope you know where he's from. And E, Matt Cook. One of those people is not from Saskatchewan.
I feel like Matt, is Cook's not from there, is he?
You want me to tell you?
Let him give an answer. Don't tell him.
I'm going Matt Cook.
Correct. Matt Cook is from Ontario. Also, not one of my favorite players because he ended Mark Savard's career. He's got two.
Yeah, he doesn't play like a prairie boy. I would have been disappointed if he was from.
No, he's from I believe Belleville, Ontario. Producer Steve can look that up. All right, we're on to our last question here, Andrew. There are 5 former WHLers on the current Boston Bruins roster. Can you tell me which of them is a former Moose Jaw Warrior? A, Mark Kastelik. B, Tanner Janot. C, Morgan Geekie. D, Fraser Minton. And E, Henry Jokiharju.
I was going to say Geeky right off the bat, but I was kind of shooting blind there. So that's my guess. That's my final answer.
Geekie was a Tri-City American. He was a Tri-City American with former Bruin and current Leaf Brandon Carlo. The correct answer is Tanner Janot from Estevan, Saskatchewan. I thought those were good questions. Those were pretty good questions, except for the first 2 that weren't multiple choice.
I was hoping like Jeopardy, some different categories. I wanted like 80s sitcom or geography.
It's good feedback.
Lester told us something last week when he was coaching our hockey team. He said he thinks he could step right in and play for the Duck Lake Fighting Sturgeon because he used to rollerblade. He used to do trick rollerblading, like
half pipes, quarter pipes, grinding.
So
requires balance.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm big. I'm 6'4".
Are you 6'4"?
Yeah.
But you're probably 160.
Well, I don't know. I'm fast.
We got to get you some. We got to get some.
We got to
pounds
get
on
Lester
you.
on the
Yeah.
ice. We got to get. Andrew, if you ever come to Moose Jaw, would you play? Would you suit up with us? Would you get on the ice with Lindy and join the team?
You shouldn't even have to ask. That's a given.
It's even easier than it looks from what I saw
Well,
last week
Andrew's
coaching.
Andrew's a left shot. I'm a right shot. Perfect D pair. I'm not a defenseman, but I feel like you can let me go and cover for me, and that's great.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you some freedom. We play like that Swedish like tornado or rover style.
Perfect.
Like whatever they call it.
I flourish in that environment. I do.
How do you feel about Darude Sandstorm? The EDM hit?
Oh,
as a pump up song.
Back to my days in Pittsburgh. I remember clearly being at a club with Jaromir Jagr right around the 1999 season, and
there it is.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go. Hey, that's
exactly.
Life, man. The strobe lights going. Yeah,
that's a point for Lester.
You should see these potatoes. Look at me when I put it on the speaker in the locker room. They had no idea.
He was trying to get us, trying to get a little,
trying to get him in the zone.
I think the team was more alarmed that we had someone that they didn't know suddenly insert himself.
Well,
into the
I didn't know
locker
any of
room
them
and
either.
Coach
so
the team.
Andrew, we got your hat in the mail, buddy. Your hat's coming. It should be there next week.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
Thank you. I will wear it with pride.
Well, Andrew, I can't thank you enough for joining us here, and thanks for putting up with Lester and producer Steve, and diving into this new format with us. We're trying to do things remotely here and wake up to the technologies of the world and embrace the 21st century. Would love to have you out to Moose Jaw, and I'll send you my number off camera so we can link up in Vancouver, and we'll go through some exercise together. And send me some broccoli so I can get in some better shape, and if it's not too much trouble.
That sounds great. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm honored to be your first guest. I also grow tobacco, so I can send you some tobacco too.
Oh,
Lester likes tobacco.
yeah.
I have asthma.
I roll my own.
Perfect.
There it is.
All right.
Andrew,
Thanks so much, Andrew. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, fellas.